Hey there riders, MotoGeno Chris here, and Suzuki have revealed the updated GSX-750, but someone's stolen half the cylinders. Oh wait, sorry, this is the new GSX-8S, unveiled at EICMA and arguably the styling standout of the new 2023 models we've seen so far. I've long thought a modern 750 Katana would be cool to see, and honestly this new GSX-S model actually fills that gap, even though Suzuki aren't calling it that. It appears as though the new GSX-8S, or 8S as I'm just going to call it, is intended to replace that GSX-S750, which is a victim of Euro 5, offering a comparable machine in many ways at a competitive price with a good road-centric loadout and decent electronics, so pretty much what the GSX-S750 was already doing. Now Suzuki have made it clear that the 8S is built around offering a value mid-size naked, which I can get behind, but pricing isn't that different to what we had for the outgoing 750, unfortunately. So here's the tech rundown, and let's see if we can spot some big improvements. All new is the 776 double overhead cam parallel twin, which to its credit is a 270-degree crank, so king of the parallel twins when it comes to character. Power is 61 kilowatts at 8,500 RPM, and torque, probably the more important figure, is peaking at 79 Nm at a low 6,800 RPM. By comparison, the GSX-S750 offered an additional 13 kilowatts, but about 4.5 less torques, that's a technical term, with the need to rev the bike harder to get at that performance. Engine preference will probably play a part here, but a 4 sounds better, especially at full song. Taking a look at the dyno chart provided, the 8S builds power pretty steadily, however torque ramps up before quite a visible lower mid-range dip, recovering for a late mid-range peak, and then slowly falling off for the latter half of the rev range. That'll probably mean a more thrilling punch of low torque in that mid-range and a very manageable and predictable top end that may not have as many thrills as people would want. A Suzuki cross balancer is apparently new in production motorcycles, so it'll be interesting to see if there's a notable difference between this engine and say the MT-07 or 890 Duke as far as character. Ride-by-wire is run with dual 42mm throttle bodies and high pressure fuel injectors for efficiency, while the airbox is situated under the rider's seat. A 2-into-1 exhaust meets a sizable collector with a tiny muffler exiting near the rear rim, as it's unlikely much sound dampening is required after 2 cats and that collector. It's a win for weight centralization however, but hopefully it's not a one-piece design. The Suzuki clutch assist system is also run, in other words a slip and assist clutch, as well as low RPM assist, the latter making the bike harder to stall. Suzuki Easy Start is also featured, alongside ride modes and traction control, with the 3 ride modes all reaching peak power, but offering much softer curves in the lower 2 modes. Traction control is likewise a 3-mode system, which either ramps up intervention or allows more spin depending on which way you go. In a cool move, a bidirectional quickshifter is also standard, which is a personal favourite, however there's no IMU, a feature also missing on the new Hornet Honda. A new frame and swing arm were also developed specifically for the 8S, with the frame and subframe in steel tube, while the swing arm is a light aluminium unit specifically for this model. Brakes are a pretty no-fuss setup, dual 310mm front rotors with Nissan 4-pot calipers, a 240mm rear rotor and single pot caliper, so pretty much what you'd expect in this category, backed up by regular old ABS. Ergonomics are typically naked bike, tall bars, easy to reach pegs and a contoured seat coming in at 810mm, which is pretty middling for a mid-capacity naked bike. Bars are fairly wide and nicely tapered back to the rider with a clear TFT display run to good effect. That's a 5-inch full colour TFT too, with day and night modes. A toggle on the left switch block with mode button provides access to the various settings and is a simple and elegant solution that'll be easy to use on the run. KYB provide the USD fork and monoshock, and there's preload adjustment on the rear in a fairly basic overall setup. Wheels are also cast items as we'd expect, that'll be shod in Dunlop Road Smart 2 radial tyres, and those sizes are a 120x70 front and 180x55 rear, so very common sizings. An LED headlight is quite minimalistic and joins the LED indicators and tail light, although those indicators are quite large and fairly traditional looking for LEDs. Overall, I'd say the GSX-8S is a standout for the styling, with most of the specifications pretty run-of-the-mill, but that name certainly does not run off the tongue. The new power plant is also run in the V-Strom 800 update, so it obviously made sense to roll it out into more than one bike, and some are saying this replaces the SV650. The only problem there is the pretty significant price hike, and I may be wrong, but I'd have said the super competitive SV pricing was a big factor in that bike's continued success. Certainly the bike can't be lambs here in Australia, but can be A2 restricted in Europe, so it covers the base there, while a 202 kilo wet weight is actually a bit heavy, with the MT-07, probably a good comparison point, staying under the 185 kilo mark. Suspension with more adjustment would have been nice, but realistically a well set up one-size-fits-all system will probably keep more riders happy than one with heaps of adjustability in this kind of price and rider range. Pricing is a competitive $14,190 right away here in Australia, with US and UK pricing not seeming to have been released quite yet. Based on the Australian pricing, it seems likely to undercut the current GSX-750 by a fairly small margin though, as a reference point if you're wondering. So let me know what you think of the GSX-8S. Does the styling work? Are you happy to see another parallel twin? Does it replace the SV650? And would you buy one? Stay safe out there till next time, and thanks for watching. If you're still here, hit that like or subscribe button.